Hello virtual pilots, I am Andres Celesti and welcome to Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, where two iconic helicopters are about to go head-to-head in the first stage of the ROTOR HIP Championship here at How I Play. Today, the mighty MI-24P Hind will go against the famous HIP MI-8 in a fast-paced and low-level race packed with difficult turns. And they will start at the top of runway 24 right, where they will perform a takeoff and continue in a fast straight line. At the end of the runway, the first corner awaits with a tight turn to the right, followed by another one, so they will need to control their speed and level. After that, they will roll past the containers and prepare to engage targets. They will need to hit at least one in order to progress to the next round. Then the pilots will face a tricky turn to the right, packed with obstacles that can prove deadly, followed by a short straight, where at the end another tight bend will wait for them, this time to the left. Beware the massive hangars on the right when performing the maneuver. Next is another straight that continues along the taxiway, followed by a zigzag course where the pilots will need to maintain correct speed in order to prepare for landing. Waiting for them past the last turn to the left is the finish line, where the pilots will need to land before touching the line. And first to enter the race is the Hind. Wearing a Ghost Rider livery paint by G79, the pilot is getting ready, doing final adjustments. We notice the IR suppressors that remain mounted on the fuselage. The team took the decision to keep them there and balance the fuel level in order to match their opponent's weight. Everything looks good, and we are about to start. Now as the front wheel passes the start line, the race will be on. Very exciting. And we start! The Hind continues with a rolling takeoff, maintaining on the center line. There is no room for mistakes here. As the speed is increasing, so does the collective, making the helicopter lighter on the wheels. And we noticed a bit of wobble on the left side. And over 20 seconds to get airborne. Now the pilot needs to raise the landing gear and try to gather speed on this first part of the race. It's imperative that they keep a low level throughout the race. Any climb above the tip of the cones for too long can trigger a penalty. We're getting close to the first tight turn to the right. The Hind prepares for it by moving close to the left side of the runway, making sure it has enough space to make it pass. And now we see a nose-up attitude in order to shave up some speed. Maintaining good altitude, and there's the turn. Moving beyond the required level, but just for a brief moment. And the return in the second bend. He needs to be very careful. The pilot prepares for a low flight past the containers. And now for the target practice. Remember, he needs to destroy at least one. First shots missed. Very short burst. And it seems he got one. Tries for the second. No luck, but now time to move on. He needs to pass through the light poles at the end of the stands here. Now that was a tight pass. He didn't waste any time. Perfectly done. Very good pace on this short straight. And he climbs again, most likely to brake more tight for the next corner. It's going to be a tricky one. Wow, that was interesting. A bit too dangerous if you ask me. And again, keep in mind it could be a penalty from before. We will see. Very good speed over here. The Hind looks and feels very fast. He is holding up on the right hand side. and a fast turn at speed. Impressive. Now the zigzag. Outstanding maneuvers. And he prepares for the landing. Landing gear is already down. And shaving speed for the last bend. It looks like he's drifting a bit. Bit high and almost out of the track. Small mistake just before the finish, but he patched it up. Now for the landing. He needs to land before the finish line. And he did, quite on the line. The Hind made it in 3 minutes and 43 seconds with a minimum of 1 target points. We don't know yet about any penalties, we will need to wait at the end. It was a good flight, a few mistakes that could cost him, but nevertheless, he made it past the finish line and set the time for this first round in the ROTOR HIP Championship. 3 minutes, 43 seconds for the Hind. Not bad at all. Next up is the MI-8 Hip. Wearing a Canadian Hornet livery by Terrio, has the same weight as the Hind, and a mounted gun on the 5th station, plus a flare dispenser on the left for balance. The pilot is getting ready for the rollout, and ready for start. Let's see what a Hip can do on this first stage of the championship. And we start. The MI-8 looks a bit more slower with a rolling start. But is faster in the air, around 13 seconds. Now the pilot needs to gather speed on the straight. Interesting the way he climbs and dips down again. Most likely he's getting the trim in a good position for later. It looks good. Hopefully he can make it up for the slow start. Now getting ready for the first bend. Same as the Hind, he keeps on the left hand side. Shaving speed and turning. MI-8 is over the cones. He needs to lower as soon as possible, otherwise he's risking a penalty. Very wide turn, that could cost him precious seconds. He's back on low level and passing the containers. Next up is the target practice. Remember, the Hind only hit one and made it to the next round. Let's see the MI-8. Definitely longer bursts. Nothing yet. Oh, got one. 2. Make that 2 targets. 3. Oh, that's it. The MI-8 shows up with 3 targets destroyed just for the fun of it. Very impressive. Now he needs to continue fast and make it past the light poles. He is just over them in a safe pass, but less tighter than the Hind performed. Very good. Now for the short straight before the hanger turn. Wondering if he climbs again or no, perfect level turn. That was good. He is very focused. The start was heavy and the first turn was quite high, but the rest of the course he is determined to perform. We are passing the 3-minute mark, so would he make it in time to take the lead? Another perfect low turn and getting ready for the landing. He is aligning and ready to land. Will he make it? He's taking a bit longer with the landing, same as with the rolling takeoff. And touchdown, just before the line. The Hip made it in 3 minutes and 55 seconds, a close call to the Hind. Very close. Keep in mind, we need to check the penalties, if any. Both pilots operated above the cones for a short while. We will have to see. We know very well that every second counts. This was an impressive first round with these two magnificent machines. Now let's find out who is the winner for today. And we got the results. The MI-8 finished in 3 minutes and 55 seconds with 3 targets destroyed and no penalties. The MI-24P finished in 3 minutes and 43 seconds with 1 target destroyed and no penalties, so the Hind wins the first round of the ROTOR HIP Championship, taking the lead for now. And we will see next time how the race progresses between these mighty flying machines. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe in order to keep in touch with all the latest news and entertaining content here at How I Play. I am Andre Celesti, reminding you to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.